All right, so I want everyone to welcome our two favorite superintendents in New York ever, Dr. Adam VanDerStuyf.
Stuyf, yeah.
Stuyf, I said it all right. Superintendent of Schools, North Salem Central School District. Yay! Woo! Okay, and then also Dr. Karen Gagliardi. Did I even say that close to being right?
You did.
That's awesome. Superintendent of Schools, Lakeland Central School District. Woo! You love it? Okay. Well, I'm going to walk around. We're going to ask questions. I'm going to start with this. What are you most proud of? You go.
You want to start?
Sure. I would say I'm most proud of my students from the vantage point of being a superintendent. Always proud of my staff. And I know those are typical answers, so to say, like when you ask an educator what they're proud of. But I do believe that the legacy that we leave behind is something that people aspire to. And if you're in a position of leadership, you want to make sure that you are doing that. So when I say I'm proud of students, staff, I'm proud of the work that they're doing to get us there, so to say.
Good answer, good answer. I think that's 10 points at least, right? Okay, Adam.
Yeah, always begin with the reason we're there, right? Students, faculty, staff. I think for me in the district in particular, and some of you who are in my smaller group throughout the morning had learned a little bit about sort of our path. North Salem, if you don't know, it's a small district, has been, for the lack of a better term, mission driven for the last 20 years. And really one of the things I learned maybe over the last 5 prior to last year is that we were really losing sort of sight of the actual teaching and learning behind the work, and things became much more sort of hypothetical and sort of more think tankish than actually teaching and learning. And so sort of maybe a proud moment, if that's the right word, is calling a timeout on all that, keeping our mission where it is, but also using a phrase that we coined last year, getting back to basics, really getting back to the focus of teaching and learning. Big emphasis on literacy, big emphasis on MTSS, big emphasis on student leadership and independence. Like, they became our goals. And in some ways sort of grappling with the fact that, you know, people were saying, like, well, you're going backwards. I think we're actually going forwards by getting back to basics. So that's, you know, sort of one of the big things I'm proud of, and where we are sort of year 2, you know, when that goal worked. So
Good answer, good answer. 10 points for that one too. Thank you. Like that? 10 points, at least 10 points.
Thank you. So we're tied. Okay.
Yeah, you're tied.
I see.
You're tied. You're tied.
We're in competition now. Okay.
It's like it's a knockout. It's gonna be, you know, I might have to use, you know, knockout brawl later on. Okay, so you led me into another question though, and that is, if you're trying to get back to basics, where did you go? Was it really like somewhere else? Like, did you feel like what happened?
In the past?
Yeah. I mean, that's just like, that just popped into my mind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be softball about it.
No, and that's okay. No, that's okay. Our focus, we weren't spending the time reviewing curriculum. We weren't spending time actually having conversations around instruction and what good instruction looks like. We were spending very little time looking at data, making data-driven decisions, and we spent a lot more time looking at sort of theoretical, looking at some abstract concepts, thinking about
how you could solve problems that were like, so people were like in their heads about the problems in front of them.
And that work never left a room like this with adults in the room who came up with ideas and came up with plans that never materialized outside of the room. Great ideas, very exciting. But the true aspect and essence of teaching and learning wasn't the focus. And so what we realized in having conversations like we had today, like what would the teachers think, what would the building administrators think, they were excited once we had to get past the, well, this is what I've always done. And what they always done was much more the factory model that you talked about, more of an egg crate. And so now we're on a path where folks are extremely energized because they see the outcomes of, that work.
I think I know the answer to this, but I think it's good for others to know. So in Lakeland, we're on a path, but we're not necessarily the factory, and we're not all the way to the style that you were describing.
Yeah.
But we are on that path, and that is due to Dr. Gagliardi. So my question is, how would you describe the current path of innovation that we're currently on?
Yeah, you both have to answer. I think it's fair if you go first this time, and then her.
Okay.
Because then we can see how she does.
And that's a great question, and that kind of leads into the back to basics in terms of what does that really mean, and thinking about where the innovation comes into play, both from a digital literacy, media literacy, the problem-based learning perspective is still part of our goal work. So we're infusing that work throughout while we're still doing that work. And we also talked earlier about the portrait of a graduate. We were fortunate maybe about 15 or so years ago through another consortium that we had joined in, Leader 21, to develop those portraits or profiles of a graduate. And so we've been doing that work, and now, and we just got lucky that the state adopted it. Usually it doesn't work that way for us. And now that also gets folded in to the work that we do. So we're having conversations right now, not as deep and as technical as today, for sure, but really trying to figure out the landscape and the vision of where that all fits, particularly K-12, where you have different students with different entry points, and same thing with the adults. Their comfortability and their sort of familiarity it varies, and so wanting to support that, that willingness to do that work along the way.
Okay, so that question is, what was the innovation path? And that took well over a minute. So I'm just gonna say, if I was a parent, I would have been lost.
I'm speaking to educators, but I appreciate it. Yep, thank you.
So you know what I'm saying? Okay, so good. So it's totally unfair to Adam to give him a rubric of I evaluated based on what the average human would do on that answer, because you guys are all educators. He answered educators, but that's going to be the rubric anyway, so sorry, but that's a 7. So 7. So sorry, you were disadvantaged. Okay, so
1710.
Your response, your innovation path.
So our innovation path that we've been on is looking at our practices over time, how they affect student achievement in the classrooms, and wanting to make innovative changes in how we deliver instruction, how we assess students, and how we can integrate all the different tools that teachers have at their disposal to give students the opportunities for a future that we are not necessarily sure what it will look like. Part of our mission and vision core beliefs are, in our statement, it has information in there that says the ever-changing world. So inherent in what we do is knowing that we have to change. So nothing should become stagnant, whether we're in a classroom, in a district office, wherever we may be. So recognizing this, right, we know that we have to change, and Deanna gave me the lead in with innovation only because we've been so committed to that. And when parents want to know, what are you doing that's innovative, it's breaking that traditional model of what a day looks like in the life of a student.
Right.
So that's what we have been, that.
I got all that, but you have an unfair advantage. But still, because you know what the rubric is, right? You know what I'm measuring you by, so I'm going to give you an 8.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
she's just
That's
one
okay.
point in front of you. Okay, so next question.
Wait, you have to be on mic in order to ask it, and then she wants to go. Okay.
Go first.
You want to go first? Are you good? Okay. Stand up, identify yourself, so people that don't see you on camera can say, who was that?
I am Lee Weber, and mine is an either or question. So either, and I don't know you two enough to know if you've been superintendents for like a year or 10 years. But my question is either what is the most surprising thing when you became a superintendent that you were not prepared for? Or what steps did you take in your career that you felt really prepared you for the superintendent?
I'll let him go first.
Yeah, I can maybe do both. And I think both had spent considerable time in the district before becoming super. So this is my second year as superintendent. Prior to that, I was in the district for 11 years before that in various district level capacities. And so one of the things I think that surprised me the most is how much you still don't know, regardless of how long you've been there and how many things you've actually had. Having been, year two as a superintendent, having been in the district for 11 years, previously district level positions with a variety of different experiences, I think one of the big surprises is how much I realized I didn't know when I made the transition. And beyond just the cliche, you're always learning something. The job every day is so unique and so intense and so sort of overreaching that was probably the biggest surprise. Comfortability, I couldn't imagine doing it in a school district where I didn't have history and a context and the relationships. So that was the biggest surprise for me.
Awesome. All right, Dr. Gagliardi.
So I'm a superintendent for 4 years, and I've grown up in the district, so to say, as a parent of students in the district. I'm living in the area 30 years. So I have been in the district for 20 plus years. So I have a history, assistant principal, ASI, and now superintendent. And also the first female superintendent. So I had to, so that came along with it. And so when you say what's so surprising is finding yourself in an office that you're now in charge of an entire district and you have the weight of the responsibility there. It's heavy. And I take that very seriously. I don't think I've ever forgotten what it's like to be in a classroom. I know that you need, to me and to my work, everything is about supporting teachers and supporting students in that classroom. So every decision I make on the receiving end is a child and a family because I know they're connected. And so I feel that that has been a tremendous uplifting experience to really feel that and to do that work. I also am blessed in some ways to be in this district, not just the district, but in the region, because we work so collaboratively in Putnam Northern Westchester. And that really has been a place of growth. We collaborate, we're not just islands. So I think that's really important.
Thank you. Both were awesome answers. Like, I don't even know how to evaluate that. I'm gonna go.
She's a 10.
She's a 10. That was a 10. He said
Wow.
7
that was a
and a half.
10. A 10. Okay, so you're still.
I had to go twice.
Okay, so you're devaluing yourself. Okay, so you both have beautiful smiles. So I don't know how to judge this competition. Okay, so last question. Who's got the question? You got the last question? All right. Jennifer, you're on deck.
So in the true spirit of today, I'm Jennifer Wilson from Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. In the true spirit of today, I asked ChatGPT to help me with the question. And I've been thinking a lot today about the conversations we've had and the advances we've been talking about what the future could be 8, 12, 50 years from now. So here's my question for you. As AI continues to advance from personalized tutors to predictive analytics, how do you envision balancing its powerful capabilities with the human relationships and equity commitments that define public education?
That was a real mouthful. Do you need it again? Do you need to repeat it? Like it's a real question? You need it? No, you're good? You're good? Okay.
I mean,
Dr.
Well-
Gagliardi, you go first this time. Okay.
I think for me, always remembering that we're humans first is probably at the core of all education, whether it's public, private, or otherwise. And it mentioned that humanity piece, and I think that you can never forget that. That's at the core of what we do. Where I see us in 10, 15 years from now, if I think back to how we were 10, 15 years ago, I couldn't have anticipated this is where we would be now. So I know that I have to prepare students, myself, just for change, accepting change, seeing where we are and seeing where we will go. I don't know about balancing it. I do see that there's definitely a place in education for AI. There's a valuable place for it. It can really do some remarkably good work in helping really get at what students need in a classroom in a given day. And that is really what we always try to maximize. So in 10 or 15 years from now, I think it's really up to the visionaries around us in the world to see where they could take us. That's my.
And we'll take you there. If you let us in your office and we ask for a bunch of money, you know how that's gonna go.
Yes, I do.
You know how it's gonna go. But that was an awesome answer. I'm not gonna evaluate it yet, but I'm gonna say that's close to a 9 or so. What do you guys think? 10? That was a 10? Jennifer, I think you get to say. Jennifer, you're gonna be the final say because it was your question. All right, Adam, go over you.
Yeah, no. I think as we, even the conversations today, thinking about it as it relates to me and the folks I work with, but more importantly, thinking about how it relates to our students who we're serving and where we're setting them up to leave us. And are we doing everything that we can be doing to prepare them beyond just, as I referenced earlier, back to the basics, but more around the world that we might not know about. And so that, sort of resonates with me. The other piece, that kind of goes along with the balance and the human aspect of things, I think about a lot, and I was thinking about this as you were reading the question, Jen. Had the opportunity over the last year or so to hire some folks. And when I talk with the folks, first thing a lot of times they'll say, well, what are you looking for in this position, director of something, and it's relationships first. And I always start with relationships. And then, so a vision for your department. And then I end with sort of the technical know-how to do the work. Because if you don't have the relationships first, and I purposely put relationships first, all the other things behind it go nowhere. And so you could be the smartest person in the room, you could have all the technical know-how, you could be the greatest visionary, but if you can't connect with people, if you can't connect with students, it's going to die in the vine. And so that's what I would do.
Wow, that was almost better than a 10. That was awesome, right? He's like, woo! Yeah, and that because the human intelligence piece, the being humanness, is what we have to build, right? Because if AI is going to take over the world, and I don't really have a doubt that it's going to go really far, I think that you're a uniquely human enterprise. You're building humans. Like that's what you're manufacturing right now. We're trying to change the pattern of that a little bit. Get off the factory model. It's much more fun. But I love that answer, and I loved your answer too. I think that was really, really excellent. Should we give them both a 10 on that one?
Yeah.
Does that sound like it's good? Yeah, woo, they're 10s. Okay, so really, at the end of the day, that he was just one low point behind. Do we still love him? He's so awesome. We still love you. Woo! Okay, so winner, chicken dinner. And then, anything else we want to say back to the New York? You guys are awesome, right? Okay, good. All right, so over and out for now. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll cut the video there. That was awesome.